Mysterious pyramids and grand ancient temples, enigmatic caves and massive defensive structures, real underground cities and abandoned towns. Ancient civilizations never cease to amaze us with their phenomenal achievements, and many of the preserved ruins remain a real puzzle for scientists even today. In today's video, I will tell you about the most incredible ancient ruins that are worth seeing at least once in your lifetime. As one of the greatest wonders of the world, the ruins of Macho Picchu should be at the top of your list. The famous Inca ruins are nestled between two lush green mountains. Machu Picchu speaks to the genius of early human civilizations, specifically the Incas. Historians believe that these ruins were once a religious sanctuary that was abandoned for some reason by the time the Spanish invaders arrived. Nevertheless, the mysterious nature of the place only adds to its uniqueness. Sigara is an ancient fortress in Sri Lanka, carved into a rock at a height of 200 meters. Mesmerizing remains of an ancient civilization are found at the top of what is known as Lion Rock. It is believed to have been the capital of the Kasapa Kingdom. During its prime, this city had a temple with mirrored walls and stunning, colorful frescoes, as well as lion-shaped gates. After the king's death, the capital was abandoned, and the temple was used as a Buddhist monastery. Climbing to the top of Sigara is a dangerous and challenging endeavor, but the views of the fortress walls, terraced gardens, and caves are definitely worth the effort. Founded around 1350, Ayutthaya is an ancient city that was a thriving port, a major trade hub, and the ancient capital of Thailand during the Middle Ages. It held this title for 4 centuries, until it was razed by Burmese invaders. Since many of the city's temples and relics were made of wood, the majority of them were destroyed, except for 50 stone structures. In the 1970s, archaeological restoration work began. It was aimed at restoring the unique architecture of the city, which was a blend of Siamese, Sri Lankan, and Khmer styles. Tikal. This ancient Mayan city, hidden in the tropical forests of Guatemala, existed between 200 and 900 AD until it was eventually abandoned, leaving behind its mystical ruins. During its prime in the early Classic period, 600 to 900 AD, the city was home to 40,000 to 60,000 people. The city managed to support such a large population through intensive agriculture on the surrounding marshy lands. The extensive palaces of the city were probably its centers of administration, while the pyramids had several purposes. Some were dedicated to the ancient gods, and others housed the remains of the city's great kings. However, despite its power, the ancient city was abandoned around the 9th century AD. One of the possible reasons for this could have been the contamination of ancient water bodies with toxic algae, making the city's water undrinkable. Volubilis demonstrates the extent of the famous Roman Empire, which extended beyond Italy. Indeed, Roman presence can be found all over Europe, including England and Romania. Surprisingly, North Africa was also under the Roman rule. Just a few hours' drive from the city of Fez, you can find the ruins of Volubilis. The historical ruins of Volubilis can be seen on a plain amid untouched grand arches. This attraction also offers incredible views of the desert. On August 24, 79 AD, the thriving city of Pompei, located near modern-day Naples, Italy, was buried under poisonous gases and molten debris from Mount Vesuvius. The city is one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, as layers of ash perfectly preserve the once vibrant city and its inhabitants. When Pompeii was finally discovered in the 1700s, the world was amazed by the revelation of such a sophisticated Greco-Roman city frozen in time. During excavations, archaeologists uncovered grand public buildings, including an impressive forum and an amphitheater. In ancient Roman cities, the forum was a centrally located open space surrounded by public buildings and colonnades, serving as a gathering place. Scientists also unearthed luxurious villas, various houses and bakeries with ovens that still held bread. Inside the buildings, numerous human remains were found. Excavations in Pompeii continue to this day. Scientists and tourists from all over the world continue to marvel at the eerie ruins of the ancient city. Like in Pompeii, the ruins of Saint-Pierre are also the result of a volcanic eruption. The city of Saint-Pierre is part of a commune belonging to the French Overseas Department of Martinique. Before being completely destroyed by the volcanic eruption in 1902, Saint-Pierre was the cultural and economic center of Martinique. People used to call it the Paris of the Caribbean. After the disaster, the economic center shifted to the bustling city of Fort-de-France. Nevertheless, numerous ruins can still be found throughout the city, and you can explore them further at the Frank Parrott Volcanological Museum. The ruins of Chichen Itza can be found on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. This beautiful ancient Maya site is protected by UNESCO. Chichen Itza is one of the most visited and photographed Mayan complexes in Latin America. Visitors can explore several fascinating sites, including the Temple of the Warriors and the famous step pyramid El Castillo. Interestingly, the ruins also include an underground area where people offered sacrifices to the Mayan gods. The Roman Coliseum is the greatest work of Roman architecture. This famous monument is known all over the world and reflects the artistic aspect of world history. The Coliseum formerly served as an amphitheater in the center of Rome. The structure could accommodate a total of 50,000 spectators and often hosted gladiator contests, among other public spectacles such as dramas or famous battles. Historians note that during its active years, this ancient site witnessed the deaths of about 500,000 people. Unfortunately, the Coliseum suffered damage from various destructive earthquakes and looting. Today, it is one of the most popular attractions in Rome. In Petra, you can find the remains of the Nabatean city of Rockmu. This ancient stone complex is built into pink rocks, earning it the nickname the Rose City. It is most famous for the mesmerizing structure of the so-called treasury. The intricate architecture is incredibly detailed and reveals many fascinating aspects to visitors. The ancient fortification of Masada is perhaps one of the most impressive ruins on the planet. Perched atop a cliff overlooking the Judean desert and the Dead Sea, it is irresistibly beautiful. Dating back millennia, the city was built as a palace by King Herod. It was complete with modern amenities like baths and even private pools. To ascend to the ruins, you need to hike up the steep paths under the scorching sun, but the beauty of this place is well worth the effort. The second largest medieval city after Beijing, Hampi was once one of the richest cities in India. All that remains now of the empire with temples and imperial palaces are these crumbling ruins. However, you can still see several ancient temples with unique stone carvings when visiting this place. Persepolis. Its magnificent ruins are located in southwest Iran. It was founded in 518 BC by Darius the Great, known as one of the most important rulers of the Achaemenid Empire. This grand masterpiece in the midst of the desert was known for its monumental architecture, urban planning, construction technology, and art. The ancient city was skillfully built, with slender columns supporting high ceilings adorned with massive sculptures of bulls, considered a symbol of God. However, the city's most significant achievement was its underground irrigation system known as a qanat, which is still in use today. In 330 BC, Alexander the Great captured and set fire to the city. Nevertheless, some of its parts survived, along with several of the greatest sculptures and structures. Mesa Verde. Between 550 and 1281 CE in the southeastern deserts of modern-day Colorado, a thriving population of more than 3,000 ancestral Puebloans, also known as the Anasazi, carved one of the most intricate cliff dwellings found in North America. The prime of their civilization began shortly before the 14th century. Having lived predominantly atop the cliffs for over 600 years, the Anasazi began constructing structures beneath the overhanging cliffs of Mesa Verde. They range from single-room storage units to villages with over 150 rooms. Decades of excavation still leave many questions unanswered. but they have shown us that the ancient inhabitants were skilled farmers and craftsmen. Mesa Verde boasts about 600 dwellings primarily inhabited by farmers. The architecture of these captivating stone homes is impressive even today, but what truly fascinates researchers are the various cultural artifacts left behind by the residents of this complex. The likely cause of the site's demise was prolonged droughts that disrupted the people's way of life, ultimately leading to numerous conflicts. Hue, a city in ruins after the Vietnam War, now welcomes over 1 million visitors each year. Visiting this historic site allows you to witness the aftermath of modern warfare and see the remnants of imperial rule. Additionally, another significant advantage of visiting these ruins is the delicious cuisine that can be found in the thriving neighboring city. Enjoy the history and then try dishes like noodles or local coffee at one of the several coffee shops. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. This temple and complex is considered one of the largest religious monuments in the world. The temple and ruins of Angkor Wat date back to the 12th century and cover an area of 402 acres. This historical site can be found near the Cambodian city of Siem Reap, where experienced guides can arrange tours of the intricate complex. Here, you can find numerous stone sculptures hidden among lush greenery. While many sculptures were stolen by thieves in the 1990s, Angkor Wat still remains a stunning historical monument. The historical site of Babylon can be found approximately 90 kilometers south of modern-day Baghdad. The name Babylon translates to Gate of the Gods. These ruins are considered one of the most famous ancient cities in the world. In classical times, Babylon was often spoken of because of the incredible Hanging Gardens, which were considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. A trip to the ruins of Babylon is a journey through fascinating and important history. The ruins of the ancient city of Teotihuacan, just a few dozen kilometers from the center of modern Mexico City, are visited by over 4 million people annually, making it one of the most popular archaeological sites in Mexico. There are several reasons for this. Consider, for example, the fact that Teotihuacan was once the largest city in pre-Columbian America, with a population of over 120,000 people during its prime. Historians believe that the first settlement in this area dates back to the 6th century BC. However, its explosive growth occurred in the 1st to 4th centuries CE. During that time, a well-planned network of city streets existed here. Monumental buildings were built, rooms were adorned with frescoes, and even multi-story residential complexes were erected. However, in the 6th century, the city experienced some form of disaster, and centuries later it was abandoned altogether. Scientists speculate that internal conflict due to deteriorating living conditions may have been a contributing factor. In any case, the Aztecs who arrived in this land later only found the ruins of what had once been a great city. They gave the city its modern name Teotihuacan, which means the place where gods were born. The Great Wall of China can confidently be called one of the most massive architectural projects in the history of humanity. This huge structure is so vast that even its total length was a subject of heated debate for many years. The Chinese themselves settled these debates in 2012 when a state agency reported that, taking all branches into account, it stretches for over 21,000 kilometers. The project required the labor of many generations, and it is now difficult to say which section was the very first. It is widely believed that the systematic approach to construction was implemented in the 3rd century BC with the goal of protecting northern borders from nomadic raids, and continued for about 2,000 years. However, some researchers suggest even earlier dates. Today, the degree of preservation of the wall is uneven, and in some places, it presents a rather dismal sight. Nevertheless, several sections underwent extensive restoration in the 20th century, allowing visitors to fully appreciate the grandeur of this construction. Some of these sections are located in close proximity to Beijing. Located just a half an hour's drive away from downtown Cairo, the Giza Pyramid complex is one of the biggest and most enigmatic structures on the planet. The ancient Egyptian necropolis consists of 3 main pyramids: the Sphinx, a series of tombs, temples, and relatively small satellite pyramids. The largest and most significant pyramid in the complex is named after Pharaoh Khufu. Moreover, it is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that has survived to the present day. It is believed that these gigantic structures were built during the time of the Old Kingdom, around the middle of the 3rd millennium BC. Given the grandeur of the structures and the available technologies of the time, it is not surprising that their construction has been surrounded by a host of incredible theories and speculations. There are also many mysteries surrounding the Great Sphinx, a massive structure of a reclining lion with a human head, standing over 20 meters tall. Carved from a single rock, it still remains the largest monolithic statue in the world. Researchers believe that the face of the Sphinx bears a resemblance to Pharaoh Khafra, in whose honor the 2nd largest pyramid was built. The tiny Easter Island, located in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, is world famous for its moai. These are the monolithic stone statues, of which there are about 1,000 on the island. The exact number is unknown, since previously undiscovered statues are being found even today. Most of the statues were created by the local indigenous people in the 13th to 15th century. They were carved using relatively primitive stone tools from solid blocks of tuff, a type of volcanic rock. The average height of the statues is about 4 meters, with a width of about 1.5 meters, but larger ones aren't uncommon either. For example, the tallest of the sculptures discovered to date exceeds 20 meters in height. There are several theories regarding the purpose of these statues. According to one theory, they represented deceased ancestors, while another theory suggests that they added strength to living leaders. A third theory proposes that they helped ensure the fertility of the land. Friends, that's all for today. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and see you soon.